It is one of, if not the busiest travel day of the year. So however you're planning to get to your turkey dinner, NBC2 is making sure to track the changes to our weather.
NBC2 meteorologist Jason Dunning has been updating your forecast, which includes dramatically lower temperatures.
Yeah, for us, the focus now on temperatures, not as much on the rainfall. But if you are traveling, especially up into the northeastern parts of the U.S., be patient, especially over sections of New England, around New York City. We've got some areas of rain, some snow, some high winds. Let's first start with our very own radar here across Southwest Florida, just to show you things are drying out. We still have a considerable amount of cloud cover across the area, but not looking at any heavy rainfall left across the region. We're going to see the sunshine, though, it looks like, as we head through the mid to late afternoon. Now let me show you what's happening over parts of the northeastern U.S. And here's our forecast model. We'll start the clock here at 12 and notice up and down the eastern seaboard here from North Carolina up through Virginia, Washington, D.C. We're looking at some heavy rainfall and some high winds. Likewise there for New York. Most of the heaviest snow will fall along and just to the west of I-95, and we could see a foot or more of snow here for interior parts of New England, and it's going to be a very tight gradient between the rainfall here in the coast and where we see some of those snowfall accumulations a little bit farther inland there. Here's a look at 5 o'clock. You can see still a very messy scenario over parts in the mid-Atlantic up through the northeast. We are going to see improvements, though, as we head through tonight into Thanksgiving morning. Most of the snow there over parts of New England up through parts of Maine around Bangor, and then for Thanksgiving morning, conditions start to improve there across the northeastern U.S. and we're going to see improving weather here in Southwest Florida. More on your local forecast, what to expect with those chilly temperatures coming up in 15 minutes.
Much, Jason, and that wet weather having some serious impacts on Sanibel. We know at least 2 golf courses are closed, another partially closed. NBC2's Holly Hojek joins us live from the Sanctuary Golf Course on the southern end of the island with a look at what they're dealing with. Holly.
Good afternoon, Lisa. Well, to give you an idea, the Sanctuary Golf Club is open some 300 days a year, maybe only closing down at max 10 times a year for weather, and that's typically in the rainy summer months. So to show up here at the end of November, the superintendent said he was shocked to see how much water was on this course. I want to take you to those images right away. You can see the superintendent said at least 6 holes are impacted by standing water. That's about a third of the course. He said they saw at least 5 inches of rain out here in the rain gauges this morning. Now, what they do is they immediately assess the playability. Would a ball even roll on these greens? Once they figure out that won't happen, they consider also the golf cart and the damage it could do if they were out here on the greens. Now, the good news, they said they weren't expected to have too many people out here today, but because it is the holiday season, there's a lot of guests in town, a lot of people expecting to play tomorrow and over this busy holiday weekend. Now, we also checked with other golf courses on the island. One is closed and another partially closed. Sanibel Golf Club said it had to close completely today. The dunes, the back 9 are closed. The front 9 still open, but are strictly cart path use only. Now, the superintendent said he will not be taking the day off tomorrow. He'll be back out here early in the morning to survey the golf course to see if the guests will be able to play some Thanksgiving golf. Reporting live out here on Sanibel Island, Holly Hojek, NBC2.
All right, thanks so much, Holly. And due to the weather, the American Sand Sculpting Competition will be closed today on Fort Myers Beach as well. The competition should be back on schedule tomorrow.
Nasty weather up north is affecting air travel today. Several flights out of Southwest Florida International have been either canceled or delayed. NBC2's Lucas Seiler is monitoring flight boards. Lucas, how are things looking this afternoon?
Well, Chad, we've been keeping track of all the flights coming in and out of Southwest Florida this afternoon, and one flight just popped up as canceled on top of the 4 others that were canceled this morning. New York LaGuardia Airport. This is a Delta flight. It was supposed to take off around 12:42. This has been canceled, and above that, you can see a JetBlue flight, Newark, also canceled. And over here on arrivals, still looking pretty good. Most of these flights are on time, and none are really delayed. But again, there is another cancellation from Winchester County here. It was supposed to arrive here just around noon, so right around now, and another one from Newark. And those 2 are JetBlue flights, already making for a very rough day for travelers trying to make it home in time for Thanksgiving.
Hoping, crossing my fingers, our flight's not delayed.
Grabbing tickets, checking their gate number, and heading to security only to find this.
I'm really just hoping ours isn't going to be canceled. We have such a short time at home.
A line so long it's ruining an already hectic day for many. RSW confirmed only to NBC2 the influx of Thanksgiving Day travelers jamming through security at once made dozens of people miss their flights this morning. And others like Megan Wiley already gearing up for what she's learning could be be an airport nightmare.
It already was pushed back like 30 minutes, so hopefully not anymore because we got appointments and family to see.
Cancellations already popping up on this board, a direct result from hundreds of flights that were canceled across the country due to this nasty mess expected to spread throughout the Upper East Coast corridor, one of the busiest spots in the country for air travel.
I'm hoping that everything is okay so everyone's safe. I mean, that's my main concern.
From D.C. to Boston, Philly to New York, what's developing well to the north of Southwest Florida isn't only stranding thousands of people trying to get home, but could create a ripple effect on flight statuses after the storm passes.
That's why I'm coming back Saturday and not Sunday. And this has happened to me before.
Smart for her, unlucky for everyone else flying out last minute, leaving those flyers with no other choice but to simply wait things out and hope for the best.
We have school the next morning. We leave at 5 in the morning. We have to be at school.
You are definitely going to want to allow yourself some extra time getting to and through RSW this afternoon. Even though the airport may be relatively quiet now and the line isn't so bad getting through security, chances are it will be back to how we saw it this morning, where we saw it literally come all the way here to the lobby. We have never seen the line get that long. So allow yourself some extra time and be sure to check your flight statuses before you head out the door. For now, I'm live at RSW. Lucas Seiler, NBC2.
Some certainly good advice there. Now to an NBC2 exclusive. 4 people got caught in that terrible storm this morning out on their boat, and the Coast Guard had to come in for a rescue at Redfish Pass. In fact, the boat owner says the wind felt like it was blowing at like 50 miles per hour. Only we were there as the Coast Guard brought them to shore. And the boat owner told only NBC2's Alex Diarmas about his near-death experience.
Yeah, the boat owner told me all the scary details. He said he and 3 friends were sailing from Fort Myers to the Keys last night when the storm came in. They figured they'd find a safe place to spend the night and anchor, and they did that right here at Redfish Pass. But as you can see, hours later, the wind is still strong and the water is still rough. Now, they decided to call Coast Guard at 6:30 this morning after they drew 2 anchors and were still dragging. Now, Hollis is the name of the boat owner. He tells me the tide was so bad, the buoys were underwater. He didn't even know where he was at. He said water filled the sailboat in minutes. He was fighting for his life for nearly an hour. Now, this all happened just 1,000 feet away from a sandbar, meaning this could have been a lot worse.
The boat was turned completely up on the side and the water was coming in that side over there, and we hadn't even run aground yet.
Wow.
It's just one of those freaky things in life that happens to you, and I hope it never happens to anybody else.
South Seas Marina is at the edge of Sanibel and Captiva. It's easily accessible from a lot of different waterways, whether it be the Gulf, the Pine Island Sound, the Intercoastal Waterway. So great location. Sheriff has a boat here, easily accessible by the Coast Guard.
Now the Coast Guard towed the 4 people to the marina here at South Seas Resort, the nearest marina to them, and thankfully they had this here to be able to be rescued. Now, as for the sailboat, it just suffered some scratches. It'll be just fine. The boat owner, though, tells me he won't be sailing for quite some time. For now, reporting from Captiva, Alex Diarmas, NBC2.
New right now, he is accused of running a drug operation through his Bonita Springs business. Today, the man went to a court to answer before a judge. Lee County deputies say agents busted this guy, Alan Nunez Nino, with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of heroin and cocaine. He runs an indoor soccer facility. It's called Soccer Palace, which has hosted tournaments for kids and adults. NBC2 broke this story yesterday on this broadcast at noon. Deputies say they found $120,000 worth of drugs and also confiscated 4 vehicles. An arrest is expected following a serious hit-and-run crash in Collier County. The Florida Highway Patrol says 43-year-old Angela Liccarardi from Naples is the main suspect. This is a mugshot from a previous arrest. They say she plowed into a 25-year-old named Griffin Shallow on Vanderbilt Beach Road just east of North Point Drive last Friday night. Griffin's grandfather says Liccarardi then got out of the car, spat on him, cursed at him before taking off from the scene. Griffin remains in the hospital and has so far gone through 3 surgeries.
Justice. Want that person to go to jail. If it's the person we think it is, they have a record already. That's enough. I'd like to meet them and ask, why did you spit on him? You know, why? You know, he's down and out, and it was your fault.
Liccarardi has been in trouble with the law before. Here is yet another mugshot from a previous arrest. A little more than 2 weeks ago, she was charged with battery in Collier County. 3 years ago, arrested for trespassing in Lee County.
Now to a developing story. Cleveland police plan to release surveillance video today of Saturday's fatal shooting of a 12-year-old boy by a police officer. Residents turned out Tuesday to express their concerns over the shooting. The boy was holding a toy gun, and he died at the hospital Sunday. George Smith has the story.
There seems to be a lot of people quick to triggers.
Hundreds crowded into the Cadell Recreation Center where Saturday's shooting occurred to hear from city officials about the shooting death of Tamir Rice. A Cleveland police officer shot and killed the 12-year-old who had a toy gun that looked real.
I don't know how to put this but to say it. If a person is using a weapon against you or an officer and you have the ability to defend yourself with a weapon, that's what happens.
What force did the 12-year-old boy use that justified a torso shot as opposed to maybe a leg shot or an arm shot?
Cleveland police officials say officers are trained to shoot above the waist.
If an officer is faced with a person with a weapon in their hand or about to use a weapon or a weapon on their person, an officer has this much time to decide whether or not that person is actually going to use that weapon against them or that person is going to give up.
Despite many good things happening in Cleveland, some residents still have questions about the city.
It seems like there's two Clevelands, one that's working for some people and one that's working for others.
That was George Smith with the story. Now, police say Tamir Rice, the 12-year-old, was shot in the torso twice. It was the attorneys for the boy's family who requested that police release that complete surveillance video of the confrontation between the boy and the officer. You can count on NBC2 to bring you the video once it's available.
All new next on NBC2. For years, she told her son he had cancer, fooling everyone. Today, we found out her sentence for the terrible secret she kept.
You should never wash your turkey because what you end up doing is splashing pathogens around your sinking counter.
So what should you do? And what you shouldn't do when you're preparing that Thanksgiving meal. Plus, the stores near you that will stay open just in case you need any last-minute grocery runs.
And our weather doing a 180 today after warming up to the mid-80s yesterday. The storms overnight coming in with a cold front, bringing some chilly air to southwest Florida. Look at those temperatures right now in the upper 50s to lower 60s. Winds making it feel even cooler. Looking at gusts as high as 35 miles per hour there at Gulf Coast at FGCU. We'll talk about what changes are in store for the rest of the day and on into Thanksgiving coming up in your first solar forecast.